I find that for journalists, it requires them to think back to before they were journalists. When you're a reporter, you get used to writing in a very specific way. We have to kind of throw a lot of that out the window when we're trying to write in a more conversational manner and just kind of remember what it's like when we talk to our friends and our family and try and tell the news and tell stories that way. It's more of an art than a science, I think. I think it's about kind of thinking about the emotion that the story is trying to convey, or sometimes a cultural reference point. It's about finding kind of a little way to pivot off of the news and bring people into the GIF can kind of provide a way to feel something about what the story is telling. Newsletters have been a big part of Quartz from the beginning. The Quartz Daily Brief was launched on day one and has often been described to me as like, this is really, the newsletter is what Quartz is about, much more than, say, the homepage of QZ.com, because it really distills down the way, the lens that we see the world through, the things that we're interested in, and it has created this kind of loyal audience that has become a habit for them to check in with Quartz every morning and find out what happened while they were asleep and everything else. So the newsletter experience, I think, was very natural to us. When we started to expand through some other emails like the Quartz Obsession, it was about trying to find kind of different touch points through the day where we could offer something to people. So for the Obsession, which is kind of a daily dive down like a very small topic that tells a bigger story, it was about creating something. If the Daily Brief is in the morning, the Obsession is in the afternoon when maybe you're a bit burned out from the news or from your job and you just need a little break and something to kind of open your eyes and like show you something you never heard of before. And so if the Daily Brief is about informing you, the Obsession is more about delight or surprise. So we have a team of, well, there are different people are all working on different products, but there's a core of 2 people who are working primarily on the Obsession, Jess-Ann Collins and her deputy. And so they spend the most of the time kind of coming up with ideas and producing and editing, and then we draw on our writers from within the Quartz newsroom, and then also we use a small group of freelancers. It's really about trying to find the things that people are obsessed with and kind of teasing those out and putting them into the Obsession format. I don't think it's for everyone necessarily. I think the chatbot for us, it serves a very specific purpose, which is that we want to have kind of a conversation with people about the news. And the idea was that if people are used to spending a lot of their time messaging when they're using mobile, we wanted to kind of be true to that format. So I don't know if that's something that every newsroom necessarily has to copy. There certainly are a lot of tools out there that enable you to do this now. So we work closely with a startup called Dexter, which has kind of created a software interface that makes a lot of that easier. We've custom built a lot of things ourselves as well. But I think there are off-the-shelf tools that that any newsroom could probably explore this a little bit and decide if it's right for them. Yeah, we just launched this week. The Quartz membership provides access to kind of some exclusive content, contacts with the Quartz newsroom, so Q&As and conference calls with our reporters who are experts on given subjects. And the idea is that once a week, we go into one single topic. It was actually inspired a little bit by the Quartz Obsession, but it zooms out a little bit. So, for example, the first installment is about the future of money and whether cash is going away or not. And so we have different pieces of content coming out each day that week that explore that topic. And it's really not supposed to be directly on the news. It's much more of kind of a crash course, like an education into a topic that we think is very important and that's kind of changing the world in some small or large way. So it's a different approach for us. We think that we can kind of offer something that'll be valuable to the loyal Quartz readers who are out there that want to kind of take another step and like learn more about the world. That's really what the membership is designed to provide. I mean, I think that automation and AI and machine learning and algorithms, all these things, they're not going to mean the end of journalism by any means. They're going to, I think, ideally going to be tools for journalists. So we're getting ready to announce a new initiative that we're doing, which is to use machine learning and AI in cooperation with other news organizations, much like we did with our bot studio. And so we're going to be building tools that journalists can use to kind of harness the power of AI. I don't think it definitely doesn't mean that we're all going to be out of jobs. It's just going to mean that those jobs are changing. I'm very excited, yeah. I think the sessions seem really promising. I've already gone to a couple really interesting ones, but most of all, I think it's really just a chance to meet new journalists, and some who may have heard of Quartz, many who have not. I'd love to hear about what they're working on and to tell them a little bit, and that kind of exchange of ideas to me is really the best part of these kind of conferences.